Roethlisberger?
Well, the most important thing, Red, is that both sides have decided they want each other. Of all the things, the fact that Ben wants to be back, and he does, and the fact that the Steelers, as our Rooney told local reporters today, want him back as well at 39 years old, that's the biggest piece of this. How to make it work money-wise is a somewhat smaller issue because both sides do believe, as they've said very publicly today, that it is going to work. And the fact that Ben Roethlisberger told Ed Bouchette of The Athletic today that he doesn't really care about his salary, his agents probably will, but Ben doesn't, that makes me think it's going to work. And part of the issue here, it's not really just money and cash. It's really just cap. $41 million plus is a salary cap. It is not something that they're going to be able to deal with. Expect an extension to smooth the cap out, lower the number this year, and deal with it in the future. Try to get one more year out of their franchise quarterback and get it all under what should be a little bit lower salary cap in 2021.
Ian, any sense as to how this move and this news that Roethlisberger wants to come back and the Steelers want him back will affect their future plans at quarterback?
It doesn't sound like it will. If the Steelers are going to end up, let's say, drafting a quarterback, they would probably still be willing to do it because Ben is 39 and you figure this probably will be his last year. I don't get the sense it alters things. They just know they don't need a quarterback right now.
33 touchdowns this season, second most in his career, only to the 34 that he threw back in 2018. Ian, thanks very much. Aaron Rodgers sent the NFL quarterback carousel into warp speed this week when he mentioned his uncertain future following the NFC Championship game loss to the Bucs. He would later clarify on the Pat McAfee show that he has no reason to believe he won't be back in Green Bay next year, which of course should be music to Robert Tunyon's ears as he joins us here on NFL Total Access. Great to have the Packers tight end here with us. Robert, welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us here today. I got to ask you, were you at all concerned when you heard what Aaron Rodgers said after the game?
No, I wasn't really worried. For those like us, we know Aaron and where he's coming from, and he was just kind of talking about the reality of the league and the business aspect of it. And I think it just kind of caught some people off guard. They were also in their emotions after our loss, and so were we. So I think, tensions were high and emotions were everywhere. So I think, at that point, everyone was just trying to, latch on or make a story out of something. But,
Sure.
Definitely not worried about Aaron leaving.
That certainly seems to be the sentiment now. And you guys have built up quite the trust, it seems, over the course of the last few seasons. 11 touchdowns from Aaron this year. But what does it take to earn that kind of relationship with a player of Aaron's caliber?
Just the will to want to be great and just trying to be the best every day and holding myself to a standard where I got to be at my best for my team and whatever role that is. And even if it isn't the biggest role and it's just doing things, in the run game and earning the stuff in the pass game, like if that's what we want to do and that's what it's going to take to get to the Super Bowl, that's what I want to do. And he knows that and he sees that. And I think that he just holds me to the same standard that I want to be at. And just basically, other than being a teammate, he's a good friend to just hold me to that standard.
Only 5 days since the NFC Championship game, so I know this is kind of fresh. So apologize if we're pouring salt into an open wound here. But is there any advice that you would give the Chiefs for dealing with the Buccaneers defense that you just saw a few days ago?
Be ready for that pressure. Be ready for that blitz. That's for sure. They're bringing it. Especially, I think they would probably try to play Pat similar to Aaron, just by the talent at the quarterback spot. So, I think it's going to be a good game. It's a good matchup, and it'll be a good show.
You got any predictions? Any idea how this is going to shake out in 10 days?
No. I just hoping for a good game. That's it. As a fan.
I'm with you on that. Well, look, man, I know you partnered with Sleep Number, so tell us a little bit about how their products have helped your performance on the field.
Yeah, Sleep Number and the 360 bed, just giving me that optimal recovery and sleep for my brain and my body. Your brain needs the recovery just as much as your body does. So coming home and, in the morning, waking up and seeing my sleep score and, just even if it's competing to get more sleep than the day before, I'm just trying to, get better and hold myself to a standard and making myself available and the best I can for the team.
That is competition right there. The guy competes even when his eyes are closed. Robert Tonyan, thanks so much for hanging out with us here today. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me.
Well, as for the team that got past the Packers, the Bucks in that win over Green Bay, thanks in part to players like Jordan Whitehead, who is our way-to-play winner of Championship Sunday because of his textbook head-out, shoulder-in tackle for a forced fumble. Huge play in the game.
Yeah. Good. What we do for it right here.
Championship Sunday.
How far is this field goal? Far as Hail Mary.
Brady to throw, throws a deep pass downfield. Got Scotty Miller in the open. Makes the catch. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
And we built like that. Like that. We built like that.
Let's go do it right now. No penalties. Take care of the ball. Good routes. If we get first down, that's the ball game. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's got the first down across the 40. Bucks are going to win this football game.
Let's go. One more. We're at home.
I know.
We're at home. Let's go, Tommy.
Come on, baby. There you go, baby. We still ain't played our best yet. Nope. We save it.
Well, they're trying to get their best now as the Bucs back on the field preparing for Super Bowl 55 just 10 days from now. Earlier, Bruce Arians talking to the media about the Bucs' pursuit of Tom Brady. In his words, you can't hit a home run unless you swing for one. Well, Brady, in the meantime, really wants to win a Super Bowl for his new coach.
Experience doesn't matter. Playing well matters. The team that wins is not going to be the most experienced team. It's going to be the team that plays the best. So we got to prepare the best. We got to execute the best. We got to perform the best under pressure. And if we do that, we'll be champions. And if we don't, we won't be.
Well, let's take a look at the previous 9 Super Bowl appearances. All of that experience for Tom, his legend beginning that 0-1 season with the first of his Super Bowls and that win over the Rams. Brady's still the last QB to pilot a team to back-to-back championships, winning Super Bowls 38, 39. That dark period, relatively speaking, would ensue with losses to the Giants at 42 and 46. Back to his winning ways in 49 with that dramatic win over the Seahawks, and then 3 straight appearances from Super Bowls 51 to 53 with rings 5 and 6 in the process. Now looking for ring number 7, his first as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. 2 guys who have known Tom Brady for a very long time. Mike Giardi covered him now for almost 2 decades in New England, and then Scott Pioli, having spent so much time there, a big part of those 3 Super Bowl wins in New England. And Mike, you know, it's like 62 degrees here in LA, so let's fire up the fireplace a little bit. Let's cozy up here and tell some stories about what you've observed in your time around Tom Brady that makes him the elite competitor that we've come to know.
Red, I have two that jump out to me. His intense hatred for losing, right? And I'll give you one. You do the bucket drill in training camp where they stick the garbage can about 40 yards down the field and the quarterbacks throw it, and you make the round until someone gets it in, and then whoever gets it in, they're the winner. Well, I'm watching it one day, and Brian Hoyer drops it in the bucket, and they've gone through a few rounds, and Hoyer gets it, so Hoyer wins, right? Not so fast. All of a sudden, they keep going. I'm like, well, wait, this is not how the drill normally works. So I talked to Hoyer about it, and you know what he said? He goes, yeah, Tom changed the rules. We had to have another round. Brady gets it, and as soon as Brady gets it, he walks off. That's it. We're all done. And my other one for you is training camp, Jimmy Garoppolo's 3rd year. So this is 2016, I believe it is. And there was a lot of talk about Garoppolo ascending to the throne, if you will. And they had a Team Brady versus Team Garoppolo scrimmage. And Tom, I had to go back to my notebook and look this up because I hate stats, but this was really competitive. He went 25 for 25 in that scrimmage, and Team Brady wiped up the floor with Team Garoppolo. And to me, that was the message not only to Jimmy, but to Bill and Nick Caserio and Josh McDaniels. It's my job. No one's pushing me out.
Yeah, you think that might have meant something to him? All right, Scott Pioli, what do you have for us?
Well, everyone knows some of those competitive stories, Mike. Those are 2 great anecdotes. I always think about his leadership and what an incredible leader he is and how he does things that are just such great signs of emotional intelligence and empathy for his teammates. I go back to his early career when we were in New England. Brady started receiving some endorsement opportunities after the first Super Bowl and then after the second Super Bowl. And he was offered these opportunities to do commercials, but he refused to do the commercials unless he could have his teammates involved. He did one commercial that he had Troy Brown, David Givens, and Deion Branch in. And then he did another commercial with his entire offensive line. And it was it was this sign that Tom not only wanted to include them in being a part of his ascension as a player, but what he really wanted to do was make sure that they got paid also, that he wasn't doing this alone. And what Brady did is he didn't take payment for those endorsements or those commercials. He made sure that all of his teammates were the ones getting paid, and he sat by the side because he knew he was going to be making his fair share. And it's those moments as a leader when you do things for your teammates that people didn't see, people didn't know about, that are really pretty incredible. I mean, everyone heard the stories about how he took less on his contracts, and I negotiated those second and third contracts with him and his agent Don Yee, and I watched him and listened to him as he slowed us down and said, listen, if you promise to give more money to other players, I will take less. I want to be a part of a great team.
That's a great, that is phenomenal insight into what it's taken for Brady to get to this point and to win all those Super Bowls in New England and on the cusp of another one now in Tampa. I have one last anecdote because I was with you for 5 years in Boston covering Tom Brady. And I remember the impact he had on the community, obviously, and one of his favorite causes, the Best Buddies. And they'd have the flag football game, right, every summer before the big ride, the big bicycle ride. And I remember he played all-time quarterback for both teams. And there's it's like 30 on 30 out there, right? So he's throwing probably 100 passes out there in the span of like an hour. And he completed about 75% of them to people like Giardi. Like, can you imagine that, Pioli? I mean, that tells you what kind of competitor